Hi, welcome back. I've made the armature for the Dark Knight who will be riding a big spider, and now I'm going to go through a similar process for the spider. Here's a basic outline of what I'll be doing. I'll reference it as I go. Unlike the human-shaped armature I previously did, I'm going to be using several separate pieces of wire to put this together. Using a single piece to make a spider armature is completely possible, but I don't have a ton of experience making spiders, and I have no idea what length to start with. So I'm just going one part at a time. With plenty of twisting though, I can make the different parts all fit together firmly. The legs go on fairly simply. I just take 4 equal lengths of wire, fold each in half, loop the center around the core a couple times, out to the length of the legs, and back in. Loop it around the core. Each time I fold the wire back 180 degrees, I make sure to measure to keep the lengths consistent. This is a larger mini than the humanoids I usually make, so I'm using some foil here to bulk up the form a bit. It's a quick way to fill out the bulk, and you can pinch it in place around the core of the armature and secure it with more wire to give a good stable foundation to add clay. You can do this part with clay, but to get the same firm foundation to put the outer layers of clay onto it, you'd have to bake the inner layers first, which slows it down, and unless you bake it in several layers, the thicker you make the clay, the more the outer clay insulates the inner clay. So whether you bulk it up layer by layer or in one big chunk, you'll end up spending a lot more time baking. The larger your sculpture, the more foil you'll likely end up using to bulk it up. You may be wondering what I'm doing here. Well, I had an idea for the legs. The ends of the legs won't be sculpted from clay, and I'm not going to be making a base since a mini on 8 legs is plenty stable without a base. I don't like the look of the twisted thin copper wire for the leg tips coming out of the clay, so I'm sharpening up some thicker wire to give him stabby spear legs. Wrapping the thinner wire around the base of the spears is more for looks. It will give more texture to the clay that will go over the top of the legs. It's impossible to wrap the thinner wire tightly enough that the spears will stay in, so I have to use little glue for that. Having said that, they will add to the overall stability wrapping the thinner wire around the thicker like that, so it's still worth doing even just for structural purposes. And here's the armature. I did bulk up the legs some more with thinner wire. It'll give them some more durability and some texture when I put the clay over there. It's quite the work itself, the armature as it is. It will be a shame, I think, when I start covering this up in clay. And I'm just checking that the armature for our Dark Elf Knight sizes up just right with his mount. And thank you for watching. Keep an eye out for this series, which will be a Dark Elf Knight riding his fearsome spider mount.